Alors Phil RAMONE, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
You are called the Pope of Pop. That's a good nickname, no?
Dangerous name.
You've been engineering or producing a lot of records, and how many did it sell?
I don't know. I think somewhere past 70 million, something.
You started playing violin at the age of 3, no? You were a prodigy, no?
Yeah. How do you know that?
I know everything. Explain us.
Well, I started as a classical violinist.
Yeah.
And by the time I was 7, we were doing concerts. And then by the time I was 11, I wanted to play jazz.
Yeah, because you got in touch with the technology by electrifying a violin, a fiddle.
Yeah.
Because you've been listening to Stéphane Grappelli?
Exactly.
That's it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Stéphane was like a major change.
Yeah.
Because in school, they caught me trying to play the violin like that.
Yeah.
And they got very upset. And then, of course, later on, they threw me out.
Yeah. Then you, at the age of 15, you came in a studio, and you were fascinated by the guy on the other side of the glass, and you decided that it will be your job, no?
Yeah, because the violin sounded awful. And I realized that the engineer could help. And, you know, I just liked the whole idea that someday I wanted to be a director.
Yeah.
And playing the violin, and I always feel, well, I feared I would end up in a restaurant, you know.
So you decided to be the boss?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. So you've been learning your craft with very famous people like Leiber and Stoller, David and Baccarat, Mort Schumann and Doug Pomus. Explain us the way it was at that time. You know, you are part of the legend now.
They're the legends.
Yeah.
I lived because of the circumstance that I worked with great songwriters. Mm-hmm. And I learned more about their attitude towards music because the song came first. Mm-hmm. And because I was an engineer and understood the simplicity and of how great a song could be, I understood from them what music became. And the magic came from incredible discussions and quick instincts between musicians and the relationship between the writer and them.
So you went through the era of pioneering, but when you began, there was one track, or already
No.
2 tracks?
No, it was 2 track.
Yeah.
And then we went to 3 track right away.
Yeah.
But people, because of the Beatles,
Yeah.
4 track was like still a major. Although I was friendly with Les Paul,
Yeah.
and I worked a lot of it for Atlantic Records, who had an 8-track machine. And at night I used to sneak over there to understand the principle of how to make an 8-track record.
Is it true that to delay echo, you got feed from the tape machine, for instance, at the beginning, no?
Where do you find this out, man?
No, is it true?
Yes. Yes. We had a bathroom. I
Yeah.
was in a very small studio. And I just took the feed of the extra tape.
Yeah.
I had a very small, cheap tape recorder, and fed it to the bathroom, fed it back, and people said, "Oh, that's crazy."
Your major inspiration on a technical point of view came from George Martin, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he invent for you? The main thing he brought to your craft?
I think well, you know, Sgt. Pepper was probably the most innovative album.
Yeah.
Many uses of multi-tracks, but only 4 tracks.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of copying of tracks. Tracks run separately on a machine,
Yeah.
not in sync. He did insane things. Although there was a French engineer back in the 50s that I found a record many years later, and he did the same thing.
Yeah.
So somebody
Yeah.
was the beginning of this.
Do you think that today, if you've got a good song, a guitar, and a good voice, with 1 track, you can do a mega seller?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I think because regardless of the technical end, I think a good production has to do with if the song is magic. And if an audience likes it, there's nothing going to stop it.
So now we will do a Who's Who interview because you've been working with so many great stars. Joel?
1976. I was at a convention. I had produced a record for Paul Simon and a woman named Phoebe Snow. And we were supposed to be the stars.
Yeah.
They were going to be the stars.
Yeah.
The opening act was Billie Joel.
Yeah.
He stayed on the stage an hour. The place gave him a standing ovation for another 5 minutes, maybe more. And the lady I was with said, he's going to be a bigger star than everybody in the room. And we couldn't follow it. We couldn't, the show was terrible after that. And a year later, I got a call, and this guy says, listen, I want to try your piano in your house. I said, no problem. He said, I hear you work in the studio. They got a good piano? I said, yeah.
You've been working with Julian Lennon.
Julian, yes.
Yeah, there were many people around him, I think, no?
In England there were.
Yeah.
But I sort of like to work with people differently. I like to be alone, private with people, so we can talk about the music. And he put on a tape. I just loved it. It was very, very simple. And I recommended that we hide out. We pick a place, and I picked Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a place you'd go to. And I introduced him to the most famous rhythm section that did Aretha Franklin and Paul Simon and many, many artists. And we lived in a little hotel, then we moved to a house.
Yeah.
And he developed such a comfortable style with those people. And nobody cared that he was John Lennon's son.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is a point, you know.
Madonna?
Madonna's one of my favorite artists. I only worked with her once.
Yeah.
But
for what album?
Just for a song for a movie.
Yeah.
A very terrible movie.
Lou Reed?
Lou Reed is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did me a big favor. We did a movie called White Nights. And Berezhnikov had to dance. And I found a song. And I called Lou Reed and I said, listen, I know you love to write and you'd never sing someone else's song. But it's a song as if it was written for you. And so he said, I've never done this. I don't do it.
Yeah.
And he came in.
He's very stubborn, yeah.
Yeah, and he refused to sing facing me.
Yeah.
He said, I'll sing, but I'm going to face the wall. So I said, okay, go.
Cyndi Lauper?
Cyndi is another strange phenomenon. A woman who suffers from the fact that, you know, she was conceived as a comedian. But she's a very, very good blues singer. She's a very, very incredibly talented girl who I think only after a couple more records will people understand that she can sing.
Yeah.
You know?
And Frank Sinatra?
He's the Pope.
Yeah.
He is really the Pope.
He's the Pope. Yeah, is it true that he comes and he does it in one take, two takes? Yeah.
And he always calls people like you or me, he calls kid, thank God.
Yeah.
But he expects you to understand and everything, conceptualize it quickly. He's a very wonderful man. All the stories about him are so rarely true. They're always about arrogance. They're not about the man. And
he's pleasant to work with, you mean, yeah.
He's quick. He doesn't he wants super professional. If he's going to sit down here, he expects it to be ready, you know. And when the band kicks off, he is like a child. He's so innocent about it. After all these years, he's nervous and he wants to do well. There's a video. You can see a lot of it in the video. It's been cut, but the actual footage of L.A. is My Lady, I think it was called. You see what Sinatra is, and then the man is in his 70s. Yeah. And he's like a man in his 40s.
Yeah. Let's end with Julien CLERC. So.
My new friend.
He writes very good melodies, yes.
Melodies there. And he always complains that he plays with only, 3 or 4 of this hand and 2. I said, forget it. It's the music.
What is the star you've been never working with and you dream to work with?
I don't know. I've worked with almost everybody.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm asking you this
Maybe
question.
you. You sing?
No, I talk.